look, I'm going to come out from the position of I think political marketing functionally, as we know it, as we would call it as marketers, the marketing mix, 4Ps, price, product, promotion, place. I think it's absolutely dead in Australia. And I think it's a shame, but it was a good run, but it's over. A big part of it being over is nobody's using product. At the moment, now, my view of the available political parties that we have at our disposal is that we have Labor desperately trying to lose. They're pulling out all the stops to try and avoid victory. I say this as a Queenslander who watched the Liberal National Party successfully dodge getting elected back in the day, and Andrew can back me up on this one, of the deputy or the leader of the opposition failing to campaign and going home on Saturday afternoon because he didn't want to work weekends and certainly didn't want to be leader. The Chaser says it well when they said Labor desperately scrambling for a way to lose next election. They managed to lose the last election with some very carefully thought out absence of strategy. There was the review at the post-election review was, we didn't actually have an overarching strategy. There was no strategy committee. Nobody was in charge. They only lost by 2 seats, but they still definitely put the yards in to lose. Currently, on the social media front, you'll hear the refrain that I'm seeing a lot in Labor's territory is, vote for us and be surprised. It's like, no, tell me your policy before the election, not trust us, it'll be a surprise. Because a lot of their social media people and their strong advocates are coming out and saying, well, look, we haven't held any positions and we don't have any policies and we voted in lockstep with Liberal, but we're doing all this to win so that when we win office, we can implement all those things that you think we might do. And I'm sitting there going, are you actually openly saying that your plan is to lie to the electorate, trick them into getting you elected, and then betray everything you almost stood for? Because that doesn't strike me as very good, but also it's the whole abrogation of product. When was the last time you saw someone step up and say, this is the policy, and we're going to go do some policy and advocacy for our policy, and we're going to say, this is what we stand for, let's go do policy. But that's actually across the board most of the times. The other place is distribution. Now, Australia is a shocker for distribution channels. We've only got one. And you'd be amazed how people have had 9 years to completely fail to come to terms with the fact that News Limited isn't going to be your friend and they're not going to say nice things about you. But what we have seen at the state level, though, is these state leaders just routing straight past, just going straight to Facebook chat, going straight to holding a live press conference. And we saw this in the ACT election. So the one place I did see this is the ACT opposition complaining that they didn't have the same media coverage because they didn't have the same live Facebook events. I'm like, you could organize your own. You could actually have your own channel. You could take responsibility for your own distribution channel. But basically, at the moment, my feeling across the board is that we've seen most of the parties go, well, what if we just stuck to doing PR, press, and aggregate distribution? So we're not going to really go too hard on that, despite the thousands of new channels and ways in which we could reach out to people. Dropping product from the lineup entirely, because basically anyone who's come out with a position and held it for more than a few days seems, well, I haven't seen too much of it happening, but also it's a thing of, I don't think we really have a good grasp on what counts as an offering that has value in the practical sense now. The tribal, I hate using the word tribalism, but I don't have a better word for it right now. The political allegiance, the sports team style, my team is winning, your team is losing. In Australia, is also translated over into states of my team is winning, your team is losing. Ha ha, look at the scoreboard. You've scored more COVID cases than we have. Therefore, my team is winning. That is being played to a bit, so that might be the offering at the moment. The people are valuing is I've got, times are very uncertain. I can wave a banner and I've got something to align myself to. But The other place where the last thing I want to say from my side, I'm going to throw floor across. Jennifer, I know how much time I've got left, but I want to give you a bit of space there. Is when we're just looking at overall the primary vote, the other thing that's baffling me a little bit at the moment across the board is both the parties are running very low primary votes compared to what they used to be, but they don't seem to see it as an urgent problem. Now, if you have decided that you're not going to align yourself in a coalition with another party, then it's vitally important to start scoring more votes than them. Labor has been wedged every time the Greens show up on the radar. What Labor, if they haven't been wedged by the opposition, finds their own wedge. That 10% of Labor possibly friendly votes that keeps being told, you're the enemy, be gone with thee. As far as the positioning strategy goes, it's really interesting. I will give them credit for that. They've made the positioning maps much more interesting. But it's also this idea that, and I think this is partly our fault as well, we might have caused this as political marketers. Perpetual campaigning, that was that 10, 15 years ago? Edward, Jennifer can pick me up on this one. When we started saying about the perpetual campaign, that we stopped thinking in terms of when you win office, you do something else other than trying to win office. Like political management's absence in the play. And I think that this has also become that problem of people are running for office to get into office, but when they get there, it's just like, oh, what do I do with it? Because there has been no policy, there's been no ideology, there's been nothing driving the reason for getting voted up or getting elected. It's all been, unfortunately, it's been a really good set of substance. I mean, some excellent execution of individual techniques, but holistically, the nature of marketing as an offering that has value within the constraints of what the organization's prepared to offer, that side's been dead. It's gone. I'd like to see it come back, but I don't see it coming up anytime soon until we can stop the perpetual campaign. We can stop people thinking, I'm in office for the purpose of retaining office and gaining office. Someone's going to step up, and my concern is it's going to be a far right group who will come in and put a grotesque but accessible product on the market and say, here, we'll help you hate someone else. This is the offering that has value. You get to hate that other person. And people go, well, geez, there's no other products. I'll give this one a go. And we'll find ourselves people will be picking up the product that's available, not the product that's good for them or good for society or good for us. So also, let's face it, as marketers, we're facing a situation where we're dealing with a society that's willing to import ideas. So there's a really good set of global transmission of ideas. Right? It's one thing that distribution, international marketing, all those things are working really well. Problem is, the ideas are we should be taking horse paste to cure COVID. The channel's working brilliantly, the product sucks. So I reckon we're in the 1970s of marketing again, where we're back at, we've got good at advertising, we're good at distribution, but geez, everything we're producing is made from cancer, will give you cancer, or will give your cancer. So if it's the Don Draper world, let's try and get ourselves a little more FDA regulation stuff happening in political marketing. Jennifer, conceding
Brilliant.
floor.
Thank you very much. That was just with 1 minute to go, so perfect. Interestingly, in both the UK and US panels, there was a discussion that voters are voting against products rather than for them, and that they are disaligned and more disaffected from parties than connected with them. So it may be that what you are predicting coming has already come there, and so may well indeed be on its way.